Hey Beth, the other day you asked me if I would show you how to make the knot used for the blindfold. So the blindfold itself is actually consisting of two prosperity knots. The knot can be a little complicated at first, but entirely doable. So when I made the blindfold, I used this size rope. It is a 3/16 inch braided nylon. It's quite small. It is not very good for showing people things because of how small it is. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to use this rope here. This is a 7/16 inch, also braided nylon. It'll be much easier for you to see what's going on. Alright, so first thing you're going to do, you're going to find what's called the bite. It's going to be the very center of the rope, fold it over, you have a loop, and two strands coming down. Okay? On the left side, you're going to make a loop, like so. Okay? You're going to take the right strand and lay it over top, like so. Okay? The next thing is you want to take your right hand, you want to grip it here so that this whole thing stays mostly in place and is not moving. Okay? You're going to take your left hand, you're going to reach under and grab the strand. Pull the right strand, pull it through. Okay. The next thing, you're going to take the end of the rope, you're going to push it over the top of that loop, under the bottom, over that strand, and down through the other side of the loop. Okay? And then you're going to pull it through. Okay? This knot here is called a double coin knot. To me, it looks kind of like you have the RV symbol. If you can imagine this turned upside down. When you're making it, it would actually look like the RV symbol. Alright, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to take these two upper loops in the double coin knot, right here where my index fingers are, and you're going to pull them loose. This is going to give you some slack, which you're going to need. Okay? So you will have two larger loops on the side, which is what you're looking for. Now you're going to take the two ends, and you're going to lift them up out of the way. Okay? Pull your two larger loops down. Okay? You're going to take both loops and twist them to the right. Okay? Alright. Now the loops that you have, the one here on your right needs to go on top of the other. And you're going to pull them to where they're basically the same size. Right. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to reach down, you're going to grab the loop that's on the bottom and pull it up. Okay? You don't want to pull it all the way through, just lift it up. You're going to take the strand that's on the right and you're going to put right there in that space. You're going to push that loop back down and you're going to pull it back under that first loop. Okay? Alright, so now what you want to make sure that you have going on right here, you need a small loop right here, you need a piece of rope that's clearly on top, one that's clearly on bottom, another that's clearly on top, and then a loop. It's going to be a weave is what you're looking for. Alright, the next thing you need to do, you need to grab the end of the rope that's on the left strand, and you're going to start by passing it under that loop. Pull it through. Okay? Then the rest of this pathway, the over, under, over, and the loop, you're going to pass over and under and back over and then down through the loop, and you're going to pull it off straight. Okay? Alright, now as you can see, this is not very tight. And that's fine. What you want to do now is you want to take the ends of your rope and you want to pull them tight. You can place your hand on top to keep the whole thing from moving. You do want to keep the knot mostly flat. You can use the top loop here to pull on as well. When you do the second prosperity knot, you don't want to do that because it's going to separate the pads and you're not going to be able, the blindfold will be able to be seen through, which is not what you want. Okay? So, as you can see, there are still some sections here that are not very tight. Okay? To fix those, you're simply going to pull them through. You're going to pass the rope through the knot that you've just made. Okay. I try to avoid pulling at the top now because I just don't want to get into that habit. If I begin pulling and get in the habit of pulling up here, right here, I'm going to do it out of habit on the second knot, and it's going to mess everything up. So I try to pull things through so that I can pull on the bottom. All right. Now again, this is much thicker rope. It is easier to get everything closed. This is going to look a little better than the smaller rope until you get it perfectly tight. That may take a few minutes. That's fine. Take your time. Make sure it looks good. Okay. Now, if you will notice this loop here, I left it short like this to show you so that I can show you how to tie it off. When you make it, you want to make this loop a little larger. So when you start that first loop, you probably want to do it down a little farther. What that's going to do, when you actually tie the blindfold on the head, that's going to allow the knot to be in the very back. You can have it on the side if you want. It's just not as attractive. Okay. So after you have the first knot done, you would literally tie another one starting right here, right next to it. I've heard people suggest that you leave about 2 inches or leave an inch. It's been my experience that when I do this, the two pads are too far apart, and then it doesn't cover the eye properly. Okay? So let's pretend that this is both knots. You have the 2 ends right here. You have the loop. Okay? I'm going to use my hand as a makeshift head. Okay? You have the loop on one side. You're going to take the 2 ends. You're going to pass through this loop. Okay? Let me do that again and keep it in frame so you can see. You're going to pass them through this loop. Okay? And then you're going to pull it tight. Okay? Yeah, you're going to pull it tight. Now what you're going to do, you still have the 2 ends. Okay, the space here between the knots, so it'll be much larger on an actual head. You're going to pass through. Okay? You're going to grab them, and then you're going to pass them right back through that loop you just created, and you're going to pull it tight. And then that's how you secure it. You can make it as tight or as loose as you want it. You can adjust it after you have it on. But yeah, so that is the blindfold using the prosperity knot. Have fun, practice.